Hey everyone, welcome to a new Shadowhunters after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we are going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 5, titled Dust and Shadows. And it's just the three of us tonight, but we have a lot to say about this crazy episode, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everyone, thank you again so much for tuning into our Shadowhunters after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You could find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43, and as you can hear and see, I am joined by Dakota T Jones and Becca Brown.
What's up, guys? It's Dakota T Jones. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T Jones.
Hi, I'm Becca Brown. Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamD43, I think I said that. And, of course, AFTERBUZZ at AFTERBUZZ TV. We're in the live chat, so let us know your thoughts, because we know we don't have anyone in this week. And just FYI, we're going to do our best for the rest of the season, but everybody is shooting.
Yes. I'm guessing Season 2B, we've all talked, we probably will have a lot more guests there. But we were so lucky to have, like, almost every single week so far have a guest.
Yeah, no, it's been really amazing, and love to, again, hear what your guys' thoughts were for our guests for the last 3 weeks. Something you learned from each week. Let's do that for
That's a good one. That's a new segment we're going to do.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that Isaiah was a very telling interview, just from everything that he said. He was saying, you know, through the fire is the 3 words he could use, and it totally made sense because in the next week, Maxim Roy, I love her so much, Jocelyn, she dies, and it really broke us apart, but it makes sense after seeing the episode we just watched, because at the very end we see kind of what's going on with Luke and how painful it is for him. Aww. So that was I mean, I loved all of the guests, but that was one of my favorite moments that I connected with, because I was like, it kind of gave us a little inside look before the episode happened.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still brokenhearted about last week's episode.
And she was so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me even more sad. Like, just how sweet Maxim was last week.
I love her.
I was like, no, why are you gone? Why is your character dead?
I want to know what you thought of Alicia Wainwright's interview. That was really cool because it was her very first episode on the show.
It was.
Yeah. It was really cool to have her. I thought it was, because it was her first episode too, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And her character hasn't been in it since, but we know that she's going to be a really, really big part of the show.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
that's good.
I feel like she's back in it next week.
Most likely,
probably
we're going to get a lot of Luke.
Looks like we'll get a lot of Luke. So that
Yeah.
that is something we'll get into. Well, let's talk about tonight's episode. Just like if you could describe it in 3 words, the two of you. And they don't need to be like a sentence, just like 3 separate words.
Crazy Impregnation Station.
Okay.
That was... I mean, to be honest.
Well, I'm not gonna beat that, so...
That's what I would say. The Warlock place, right?
Strange, okay.
Scary demon.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's like a child, I feel like. That's like strange, scary demon.
Yeah.
I love you, Becca.
But when you think about it, that crazy place that Iris... Rouse had, that would be what I would put on the door.
That was
Crazy
so weird.
Impregnation Station.
Yes, it was very scary. I would say uncomfortable, sad, and
disturbing.
I want to say like sexual tension.
Ooh, it was very erotic.
Those are that's 2 words.
I know, I broke my own rule. But let's
I liked the little kid. The little kid was a good little actress. Creepy, but a good little actress.
And does anyone know what she was? Because she had gills. Can we talk about that for a second?
It's like catfish.
Was it because she was a hybrid between a Shadowhunter and a
it's like how Magnus has his cat eyes. You know, they each have like a different kind of marking. Okay, so let's start about Alec and Jace, you know, because we finally get to see them, like, have a conversation again since they're back, but Alec's in a really, really dark place. It's really sad.
Oh, broke my
that
heart.
Really, it broke my heart because it's one of those things where they've been waiting to find each other this whole time because Jace was gone and Alec was looking for him and then Alec was in a coma and then all of a sudden they're back together, but then he runs away because he's upset, obviously, for obvious reasons, but it was sad that he had a bow and arrow pointed at him for a while. He's like, hey, dude, we're on the same team.
Yeah. He was just going a little bit nutty, I think.
I mean, which is, like, to be understood after last week's episode and what he's been through.
Yeah, and it, again, it wasn't his fault, and it's really sad. We'll kind of get back into them, but I just wanted to talk about that opening scene and how sad it was. Next we get, I do love when other characters kind of team up together. We have Clary with Simon, and they go to Magnus's. And, I just want to shout out to all of my Jews out there. I loved how Simon was doing, like, a Hebrew prayer to basically say goodbye to Jocelyn. Some kind, like I don't even know what the Hebrew Jewish thing is to do when someone dies, but I guess it's a prayer. And I knew what he was saying.
Really?
So, like, Baruch atah Adonai. I totally got all that.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
Translation.
Please.
It just means, like, hey, God. Listen.
Hey, God.
Hey, God, listen, casual.
What the heck just happened?
So,
Let me talk about
pretty
it.
much all I got from growing up Jewish. Hey, God, listen. But, I didn't get my grief kiss this episode, but we did get a lot of, like, Clary saying things that I think Simon could take, like, I don't even think it's the wrong way, but that he's going to not forget.
Yeah.
I mean, she said that, because they were looking for Luke. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, when you died and before we woke you up, like, I was, so devastated and I couldn't, like, live without you.
Their moments together in this episode had me tearing up. Especially the part where Clary was giving Simon advice on, like, go home and see your mother.
Mm-hmm. That was, honestly, that made me, like, want to cry because living away from home, I miss my mom so much.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one of those, and you live away from your mom pretty much. I mean, there's
same.
hours and hours between you guys, right? And it's one of those things where it makes you want to just jump in the car and go, and because it makes me sad. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Clary literally just lost her mother, and Simon has been running around doing everything for everyone else and not spending time with his mother. So I was happy to see him finally go back to his mother because that was well deserved and well needed.
Yeah, but now his mother thinks that he's certifiably insane.
Well, let's kind of talk about that complete storyline just as a whole, because it is kind of separate from the rest of the episode, and we started talking about it, so we'll just continue talking about it.
Yes.
He goes back to his mom, and again, like you said, I felt it too. It felt like when I was away at summer camp, and I just wanted to go home so badly, and I missed my mom so much. But he's dangerous. He's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
To his mom.
Yeah, and, part of the reason he's not going back to her, a big part, is because he doesn't want to hurt her. And even, like, her knowing about him, where he is, his people, like Raphael, could hurt her. Mm-hmm. But after Claire lost her mom, then he kind of just felt that, I want my mom.
Yeah. I love that he did go back. It is kind of making it very interesting because everything with his sister, I was happy to see his sister back on the show.
That was random.
But whenever she was, like, she was toying with, like, opening the blinds, that was, like, seriously life or death for him. And, like, she's playing around, and it just made me think how serious this is. Like, no, he can't go out in the sunlight. He can't do this. He can't do that. And the way the sister kind of just outed him very quickly and kind of figured out what was going on, at least thought she knew, it was like the urgency of what the situation was and how deadly it could be was very prominent. And I was like, oh my, this is probably why he didn't go back home to his mom, because there's danger. He could die because the sunlight.
He could die, they could die.
At first I was kind of like, no big deal. But then when at the sister moment that you were talking about, I was like, okay, now I get why he can't go back.
Yeah.
Well, also, why did she think when she found the blood in the thing? I mean, most people would be like, more than Simon, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It would be more like, whoa.
Can you do this, Simon? What are you doing again?
Simon, what are you doing?
And, like, who reaches? I mean, at least I don't. Whenever someone has a cup, I don't reach for it and open it to see what's inside.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that there was blood in there. What doesn't give any, it's not as though there was cocaine in there, marijuana, booze.
I think blood is a little weirder.
I think blood is like you put the thing down and say, I'm scared and I will not take your blood. I might go to the police right now.
Yeah, the fact she was like, oh, I'm going to, dump it down the toilet like it's a dead fish. I was like, okay, that's what we do with, like, cups of blood now?
Yeah.
But, nice.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I would do when I would throw away my mother's cigarettes. No, Mom, put them down the toilet.
Oh my God, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
That's so cute, like a concerned
That's
daughter.
awesome.
Well, let's just get into the conclusion of that storyline since it's separate. Simon does end up telling his mother that he's a vampire. And I mean, I honestly would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have been able to hide it any longer. And then at the end, she sees him feasting on a rat.
I want to see what she says to
So she was on the phone with Dr. Hughes. I know. She was on the phone, I think, with like a Dr. Hughes or something along those lines. Kind of like maybe a mental doctor or something along those lines.
That's what I was gonna.
And it was kind of scary because I'm like, oh man, like he's going to get in trouble. He's going to get taken. Obviously, he's strong enough to break out of whoever's keeping him captive. Like if they try to hold him down, for like surgery or for evaluation. But it kind of was sad. I was like, I understand what the mother's doing because if I was a parent, would do the same thing for my child if they were doing something weird like that. But the fact that she walks in without knocking and sees him feasting on this rat, I was just like, I don't think that this relationship, mother-son relationship, is going to work out.
This is really gross. And you guys actually probably, neither of you have seen this movie, but American Pie, when the first scene of American Pie, when Jim's father walks in on him, like, touching himself.
Oh.
And it's this whole hilarious thing. When Simon was eating that rat, I, like, saw the scene from American Pie.
Wait, is that the one where, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that he, like, takes the rat and puts it somewhere weird?
Well, it's a complicated movie that we won't get into live on the air. Dakota,
later on I'll
show it to you with a bag over your head, just blindfold. So we also have a little bit of Magnus and Alec. Malik.
I like that comment. He came out of the coffin finally.
He came out of the coffin. Yeah, and Zuzka. Yes, that's a great comment. And Danny says it was so gross. Definitely.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a lot of,
canoe.
I mean, I might start just writing down writing down our favorite Simon lines of the episode, because those are actually probably going to be our favorite lines of the episode.
Yes.
But it's nice to acknowledge those really funny one-liners that make him such a fun character.
He is.
And that make the show a little less dark and more lighthearted.
Last night it was kind of dark, though, for once. Simon had a very serious storyline. And I feel like he does a lot, but we were kind of like, oh, crap, this is not going to work out very well for him. But I was very excited that he was very heavily involved in this episode. I've missed his big scenes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that they're going to come back for sure, that he is going to continue to be a bigger and bigger part of the show. But yeah, Malik, guys, we get one scene. Looks like next week we get more.
Oh, okay.
We always get these, like, one scene teasers for Malik.
Like 30 seconds.
It's like we need another full episode of Malik.
They should have, like, their own spin-off web series, like where they write each other letters.
Genius.
Oh my gosh!
Like, dearest Alec, dear Malik.
I'm sure everyone in the chat would be down for that.
Dear
Alexander. On my my Vampire Diaries after show, they write Dear Elena letters sometimes. If you guys watch that, it's really funny because Elena is in a coma until her best friend dies. Basically, long story short, so people write her letters when she wakes up to read. So if you guys want to write any letters as Alec or Magnus, like writing back and forth to each other, like tweet us, take a screenshot, put them in the chat. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah, we'll share them.
I have a feeling this could get very dirty, like very fan fiction-y type of.
Well, you know what? Hey. Let's open up that door.
Oh my god.
We'll share the PG/PG.
No, what we're gonna do is we'll share the dirty ones as long as we change the words out to something funny.
Or I'll just sit and keep them at home and laugh.
Yeah, that's.
And I'll give you a shout out. Yeah.
Or we could watch them on our Periscope and
we could do a Periscope after our Shadowhunters after show.
Oh my gosh!
All right, so we have some Jace. That's the right sound for Jace, actually. Alder Tree, what are we thinking just thus far? I want to hear your opinions on what we've seen so far of his character.
What do you think, Becca?
I posted something on Twitter yesterday, which kind of explains my emotions. It's from the SAG Awards, and I think you know what I'm talking about. That's my Winona Ryder during the SAG Awards is me whenever Alder Tree is on the screen. I'm like, ooh.
I really want to like him. I think I do appreciate that he's a rule follower, but it doesn't seem like he really is anymore. But I want to like him. He's got a cool accent. He's a good-looking guy. I'm like, you know what? I want to give this dude a chance. We give Jace a chance all the time, and everyone else. So I was like, okay, cool. He's fine. He's cool. And he's just been proving himself to be kind of sketchy, especially what happens.
What, with Izzy?
Yeah, I looked it up, and the drug that he used on her is called Yin Fin, and it's spelled Y-E-N space F-I-N. And it's some kind of a drug.
What kind of drug is it? I was
don't
so confused. Okay, well, we're gonna get into them in a minute, 'cause I have a lot of questions for you about that.
Sam's face was my favorite when you said that.
I was like, oh my god. Okay, so Jace, I thought him and Jace were cool because Jace saved his life. And that's when I was starting to be like, okay, maybe this guy is on our side at the end of last episode.
The people in the chat don't think so.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
They know.
He's bad news.
Oh, Alder Tree? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Danny's saying Alder Tree is a drug dealer. Plot twist of the century.
Are you guys serious, or are you saying, like...
Adriana Love 19
Sam is
says he's
gullible.
bad news. Definitely.
Wow, okay. We're going to need to save these comments because they are so interesting. Because, okay, I do think that he is bad news, and I like to think the best in people, so I tried at the end of last episode, but he throws Jace under the bus. Well, no, at first he tells everyone Jace is okay, he is not going to be persecuted, and then to Jace, he's like, you should have killed me, like, you were not a good soldier.
He's like that character that I'm probably going to start disliking so much, I'm going to be like, I'm going to purposely try and forget what their name is.
It's one of those things with him. I feel like you should be grateful. Yes, maybe he bent the rules or whatever. He saved your life. Don't be a butt,
Yeah.
For lack of better terms.
Don't be a butt.
Don't be
guys.
a butt.
As Dakota T. Jones
Yeah.
says, Dakota, when's your 21st birthday again?
In 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh my
Or no,
gosh.
in 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, something like that.
I've been waiting for this day for so long, you guys. Well,
Yes.
before we get into more Alder Tree and what we were talking about before, I just want to touch on Jace and Clary, and we will talk about them at the end, but basically, they have this weird, they're both mourning their quote-unquote mother together, but he's not really.
I don't think so. Unless they decide, these new writers
Plot
are really
twist.
doing some crazy things these past 2 episodes. You never know. I mean, they may be siblings for all we know. I don't know.
Oh, God.
People in the chat at the beginning were saying, how is, because we know how he finds out, so...
Right.
Oh, yeah.
How is that gonna happen?
Really quickly, the Cammy says Will Tudor is the new guy who's playing
Yes.
Sebastian.
Yes, and we saw him announced on an official video this week they put on their
Yes,
Facebook.
exciting.
And him and Dom Sherwood actually are childhood friends.
No way.
Yeah.
They
Small
look
world.
very similar. I
They
mean,
do.
Kind
And
of.
there's a point for that, guys.
Yes.
I'm all, Becca's the only one that doesn't get it.
Look at her face.
Yeah. Dakota.
I do get it, I think.
I don't think she gets it.
Tina spoiled it for me. We DM.
No,
a lot.
I do get it.
You
I
do?
I do
Okay.
know.
All right. Well, for those that don't know, we'll keep it hush hush, but I think most of you do.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about this Izzy and Alder Tree thing. She wants to. I was like, what is she doing? It feels. I mean, my notes on this scene, it was like orgasms.
Oh my god. Like, did you see the tear?
Can I
God,
see
I'm
these
sorry.
notes?
I was very uncomfortable.
I wrote like a romance novel.
I'm getting choked up talking about it, but like the tear that like fast forwarded down her face, and she's like, she's like, and like it was
Everyone
just a
GIF
lot.
this, please.
No,
Yes. Please GIF this, guys.
but like at first I was like, what kind of cream does that? Because we need it. Like,
Yeah, I was like, I have been gay, but that just doesn't do it for me.
oh my god, is it the thing that goes hot and then cold?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
the-
icy hot, you know?
Icy hot, yeah. I don't know, but apparently it's called Yin Fin. It's some kind of drug. And apparently everyone's upset because Alder Tree is getting her addicted to it. So I guess it temporarily kind of helps you.
It's a cream.
Oh, it's Yin Fin, like, or
Oh,
whatever I
it's
said.
Yin
Whatever I called it.
It's so freeform though,
Yin Fin.
to have like someone have a drug addiction on the show, but for it to be a cream.
Oh, yeah.
So whoever, if there's any kids watching, they can't go out there. And if they go and overdose on lotion application, they're fine.
They're going to be fine.
You know, it's not like other shows where they're showing people actually
Don't do it.
overdosing on drugs. This is just too much cream.
I just want to know his motives, because is he trying to like seduce her or what? Because he kind of like pulls her little strap down and is kind of touching her, and it almost feels like he's kind of getting off just being close to her when she's experiencing this pleasure.
Pleasure. I agree. I think it's so very, very
Disturbing.
Ooh.
bizarre.
Jody said that Izzy could die from that stuff.
Yeah, I saw people have been saying that.
Whoa.
But why would he want to kill her?
I don't know. But she says she's wanting to see the Iron
news.
Sisters, right?
Yes, that I'm assuming from scenes from next week, that's going to be a big part of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Let's talk about this Iris Rouse situation. Is it Rouse? Rouse.
Rouse, I think so.
No.
So,
You
yeah.
don't like her.
Well, no, she's very creepy. Don't do Yin Fen.
It's gonna be in like my nightmares for the next like.
See, I'm just
month.
like, I'm such a Clary sometimes, and she seems so nice, and I was like feeling for Clary that her mom just died, and I would have gone in the house too. You know, even though she creepily brings a bird back to life.
Right? I'm like.
Yeah. That was interesting. At first I was like, oh, good for that bird. But
Also, interesting timing.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, you're that open with this also? You're just gonna...
yeah.
I don't know. She was really creepy in a lot of ways. She went for her initial bring back mom from the dead consultation.
Her initial bring back mom.
Her initial one. There's multiple ones.
You just need a consultation. Be like, hey, how much will this be? What do I need?
Yep.
I'll come back. So Clary went and took a lock of her mother's hair. It's so bad. I mean,
Natasha
that's
says she's a creeper, definitely.
Wait, and guys, will you tell us, was she in the books, and did she have a big part of being in the books? Because
As much as I thought she was creepy, don't you think they cast her amazingly though?
Yes.
yes, because she
Because
was
she was creepy.
but she seemed like a nice lady to begin with. So I don't know.
She's like most
Adriana,
like
Iris
middle-aged
was sketchy
LA
and I hate
people.
her.
What?
Iris was sketchy and I hate her.
Who said
Adriana.
that? Adriana, yes. She's very sketchy. What did you think when you initially saw the pregnant lady?
I didn't think that.
You didn't think of
I didn't think anything of what we found out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, and I'm still
I was
not.
just like, oh, pregnant lady.
Still not exactly sure what the situation was. So Alec ends up coming back with Clary because he feels so much guilt, and he'll do whatever she wants. And then he waits, and things start to get weird. Clary and Iris, things go very bizarre up there. So Iris is doing the spell to bring Jocelyn back, which is when the bird that we see died and come back to life in the other scenes with them, like, is just trying to get, like, what was that bird? I don't understand what the point of the bird thing, like, does it mean it'll come back and go crazy?
I think basically it was saying maybe your mom could be brought back to life, but she's going to end up becoming a demon or being insane and, like, being harmful to people, and in the end you're going to have to kill her to get rid of her. But I don't know if that was what the bird was doing or if the bird was literally trying to warn her, like, don't do this.
That's what I wanted to think, that it was the bird warning her, but I think it makes more sense for the bird to have been... I mean, I wish they could have taken it a step further with the bird and had the bird, like, I don't know, do something really weird that you're like, this bird is not right. Because I thought the bird was maybe warning Clary, and I wasn't sure. But I think at the end of the day, the message we were supposed to take was if you bring somebody back from the dead, they're going to go nuts and you're going to have to kill them.
Yeah.
And
Which would have been very, very sad and
I wouldn't have wanted
tolling.
to see that.
Yeah.
She was not in the books.
Iris?
Yeah.
Oh, the Cammy says she was not.
not in
And
the book.
Jody said they made her up.
Yeah, I had a feeling. And guys, I just think that now that there's a new showrunner, that they are going to change a lot of stuff from the books.
Which I like.
I mean, he's literally been on, I think this is maybe is this his second episode?
Are we talking about Alder Tree?
No, sorry. We're talking about the showrunner. The new showrunner.
This is the second one, yeah.
Right. So I mean, we've already seen some serious changes. We've seen a new character added. We've seen a main character die that was not supposed to die.
I hope the Jason Clary thing isn't changed.
Yeah. I hope so, because
I ship them.
But I love it's still. I mean, these new writers, obviously things are going to go differently. But I do think that the show is still very entertaining.
I think they mean well.
It's amazing. The show's great. Like, this is one of my favorite shows of all time. But at the same time, it is kind of...
Oh my God, Armad Bashian said, I ship Sam and Jace. Did you see that?
I saw that.
I just saw that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're my hero.
Yes. Not Dom Sherwood, but just Jace. Because and the thing is that I feel like in books, I haven't read a lot of books about incest, but I feel like if incest pops into the books, I don't even know if I've read a book that had incest in it. I would be like, okay, this is a book, I can get through this. But watching it on a television show is very different, I feel.
Oh, it's like, even though we know it's probably they're not brother and sister, it makes us feel uncomfortable because, like, I mean, not to jump ahead, but there was a moment where they held hands.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like,
Like, don't make us feel like perverts, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like the audience feeling like perverts.
Yeah.
If someone's in their bed reading this book and they're like, oh, weird, then it's kind of a different thing than watching it as an audience and millions of people are watching.
Yeah.
So I hope that it's one of those things that they settle more quickly than they do in the books.
Yeah.
I will say that. Okay, so then Clary gets sent down to what would you made a name for it, didn't you?
Crazy Impregnation Station.
Yeah, the crazy impregnation station. So, Clary tells this lady that she's changed her mind, and then she says, you still owe me. She made a blood pact, and the pact was for her to carry a warlock child
Inside of her.
And because Valentine was coming, trying to wipe them out. And then she was going to wipe her memory, so it'd be no big.
No big,
Yeah.
It's just a few stretch marks, no big.
If Clary learns anything from this, I hope it's to not trust people so easily.
Yeah, definitely. Because in shows, I'm always like, whenever they say, oh, just a favor, it's like, okay, Rumpelstiltskin, what do you want? Because if there's anything that involves signing a contract or putting a blood oath, I'm like, okay, Rumpel, like,
sketchy.
What's going on? And anytime someone in real life just says, oh, just give me a favor, like if I buy someone's food, for instance, and they're like, oh, yeah, just give me a favor later, I'm like, what favor? Like, I need
Tell
to
me
know.
now.
After watching these shows, I don't just take
don't
that. I'm
trust
like, tell me
anyone.
what exactly I'm signing myself
And I
up
do
for.
get that, and I think Clary a lot of the times isn't as smart, but this is, like, imagine if it was bringing one of your parents back to
I
life,
would-
too. You'd be like, oh my God, I don't care.
Very true.
I
Yeah.
will do anything.
She's desperate and she's brokenhearted and she's kind of a disaster emotionally in this episode.
It's awful. It's really sad.
It made me cry multiple times.
Yep.
Okay, Rumpel, what do
Eleanor
you
Blast says,
want?
anyone who wants proof that Jace is not Clary's brother, go back to episode 3 because there was like a vial of blood or something like that.
Yeah.
I need to go back and look at that.
Ooh.
But it's not like we could have tested that blood. Like, how do we know that they're not the same blood? I don't know. But Jace and Izzy figure out that Alec and Clary are in a bad situation. So they go and save the day. I love it when it's the 4 of them, Shadowhunters, their squad. I mean, it's the mini squad.
goals.
They're like the core squad, I'm not going to lie. They're
Yeah.
the core squad.
I love it.
I do too.
When-
I want to
Whenever-
see more of them working all together.
Whenever they were like all riding in, I
usually.
wanted to sing, they're coming after you. This is the hunt. I was like waiting for that to come in the background.
Yay! That was amazing.
That's me singing sick, so don't judge me.
God, you should
Can
sing the next
you
theme
sing
song.
again?
No, it's done.
Can we make requests?
Ooh.
Like if people on the chat want to hear you sing something.
Oh, demon blood is black.
And then the other blood is red. That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes
Okay.
sense. Okay. All right.
Okay, so now we're like allowed to ship Clary and Jace because his blood was not black. Let's just I just want to be sure.
But before
You
we
wanna
ship
test.
them, I want to ship Clary and Simon for one episode.
I know.
You're just like a hit it and quit it type of girl. I can just tell.
Oh.
Not in your personal life, but in your preferences on
Are you sure? Are
shows.
you sure that's what you meant?
What?
Thanks for the sound effect.
Becca's very into the hit it and quit it type of thing, I'm guessing.
Well, I think in TV, it just the thing is that I know that like Clary and Simon need to have something before they can't have something, and I hear and I think that Sizzy is a long game. End game.
In game, yeah.
So it's okay, and I'm fine with that because
I'm fine with that too.
she's my like.
But we haven't seen a lot of
Not yet.
Lately,
Yeah.
which upsets me.
The beginning of last season, and that's it.
Yeah, they had that little moment where she cooked for him, and there was like a little moment, and then that's it. That was sad. But speaking of cooking, everyone always makes fun of Izzy's cooking in the books, apparently. And this episode, I forget which character, but they were saying, she's like, oh, I tried to cook for Clary to make her feel better. And he's like, no wonder she's not feeling better. It's your cooking or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a nice little relation to the book.
A
as I've heard.
callback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
Awesome.
We had a very sad, touching moment. You know, they had the funeral for everybody that died during this massacre. It was 3 Shadowhunters and I think 24 or 26
Silent Brothers.
Silent Brothers.
It's gonna be episode 10 of this season, and I'm still gonna be crying from all the heartbreak.
Aren't you kind of a little bit surprised, though? I mean, I get that they have business to take care of and they got to move on and they want to pay respect to the dead, but they kind of want to get it over with because it's like, really? Like, they all have one funeral?
Yeah, and Simon and Luke couldn't even go.
Like, what is that about?
And I mean, she lived in the human world, you know? She was a human, so I thought it was pretty. And just like another Alder Tree thing that I didn't like was when Izzy, so sweet, said, I noticed that they weren't there. Luke and Simon, and he's like, well, per the clave. I'm like, oh, per the clave.
What do you mean per the clave? Like, they weren't allowed to
Yeah,
come?
like, oh, it came from higher up. Like, I had
Oh.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he had everything to do with it, let's be honest.
I just don't know what his end game is. I really, really don't.
This episode was seriously lacking some Luke, and I needed some Luke.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
Make me feel better.
let's talk about where we end up with Luke, and then we'll get into predictions.
Yes.
But before that, Luke, and he did say episode 6, when Isaiah Mustafa was here, that is going to be crazy for Luke.
Which would be next week, right? This
Yes.
next Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has been turning on and off. Like, someone explain this part to me, because I think you guys might get it better than I do.
Honestly, I was a little bit confused. Maybe
was
you guys can clear it up in the chat. I mean, were you confused?
Yes.
Because it was one of those things where he was like laying face down in pain. It almost looked as if he wasn't able to control his senses because it felt like he was maybe naked, as if he kept turning into a werewolf and going back into human form because he
Yeah.
was just so upset.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if that was what was going on, but
I think that's what I thought it
Heartbreak.
was.
Yeah. it was sad. I mean, seeing him laying down, face in the dirt, and all that going on, I was like, man, like this poor guy. He didn't even get to go to the funeral.
He wasn't even allowed if he wanted to.
So sad.
Yeah, but okay, and I did take a moment, I think I took a moment too seriously, and it wasn't what they meant, but in the funeral thing they did, they like let all this light up, where it looks like lanterns going up into the sky, but not. To me, I was like, oh, is that their spirits?
That's what I thought.
And then that's when we see Luke, and he's looking up in the sky, and I thought he was maybe looking at like what was like Jocelyn's spirit or something go up, but that's probably not what they meant. But
I thought that's what it meant.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, Sam, you're crazy.
No, I think that's what they meant. I think that was, he was doing his final, or like he's doing his transformation because he was so upset because he was looking up. It almost looked like her spirit kind of came down to let him know that she was really, really gone. And I think that's what they meant. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're just thinking too much into it, but that's exactly what I thought too.
Okay.
That's a good point. No, I think what you all are saying makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's not that I don't think Jocelyn can ever be brought back. I still have hope, and I still
have hope.
think that the story is being molded and can be molded. So I think we need to tweet at the show and on these things. We need to talk about it. We think Jocelyn should be brought back.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, it happened on another show on Freeform with a character who died, so you never know.
Hashtag bring Jocelyn
Just
back.
tweet it, and you
Yeah.
never know what the showrunners will do.
Yeah.
We'll start it. You guys can retweet it. We think that she's very much needed in the story.
Yeah.
On that
Yes.
note, let's get into some predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Dakota, do you want to start us off?
I do. I would love to. I'm very concerned about Alder Tree and Izzy.
Concerned.
I want to know more about this yin fin and what's going on there. I want to know how she can die from it, what exactly it does, if it really heals her, or if it's just giving her, some pleasuring. But that's what I want to know first and foremost. So I think that we're going to get more of that. We're going to kind of get more into what she's actually doing because he even says at the funeral, like, stupid place to bring it up. How's it going for you? How's that going for you? And she's like, it's going good. So I want to know what's going on with that sexual tension because I feel like he's got some ulterior motives for sure. Mm-hmm. And then this is something that is somewhat, not really a prediction, but something I just wanted to touch on. Let's talk about that little scene, like where Clary is on the ground, all cold and like just doesn't know where she's at. And then they open up that little slide door,
Stop.
like it's a bull ring, like we're getting ready to have bullfighting going on.
Yes.
The little door raises, and then this guy comes in.
Terrible.
At first, I was like, "Oh man, how's she gonna get out of this?" But then I was thinking, what's happening is literally a demon is about to impregnate her, and it's a very dark thing to say because I know that people have gone through this and it's terrifying, but like. They were alluding to the fact of rape on the show.
Demon rape, yeah.
Demon rape. So I don't know. That was a very controversial move. Luckily, everyone saved the day, so it was fine. But I don't know. I think that was very dark for Freeform.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I did think that she was going to like somehow make her drink an elixir that made her pregnant. Then when I saw the demon, I was like, "Oh, really?
I'm like, damn.
Are you serious right now?"
Yeah, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Can you
What's
imagine though
happening?
what would have been in the elixir though? That would be a bad milkshake. Not good.
Not one I would like to try. How about you, Becca?
I'm really terrible at predictions, especially following Dakota. But the rune.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. So
Little
that
Miss
is
obsessive.
Yeah, that was a very important part of the episode. So
It was.
Yeah, I mean because Clary, when she was getting away that demon, she made her own rune that she saw in her head, and it just was sun.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was
Clary's
awesome.
like the sun.
Anyway,
She's
I'm sorry to
bright.
interrupt you, Becca.
Yeah, no, but that is a great point that I will get into my prediction a little bit.
Yeah.
But even more, she's special.
Yeah.
Very, very.
Yep, which we already know. But my quick prediction is that Clary's gonna learn her lesson and not trust people anymore. So quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I think Hodge should be brought back too.
I think Hodge should
I
be.
miss Hodge.
How can you bring someone back though when he literally had like a knife through his head?
Well,
Just turn him into a vampire or something.
We've seen crazier things.
That's
I don't know.
true.
It was dark. I'm in denial about that
There's
still.
my prediction. Simon turns Hodge into a vampire. No, I'm kidding.
That would be great.
There we go.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think that this yen drug is very dangerous. This yen drug situation that the kids are doing these days, it's very dangerous.
The yen fen, it's awful. It's really awful.
Yen
It
fen.
is.
I think that Izzy is going to kind of like be drawn to the darker side because of
Ooh.
that. And I also think that Clary's new power with her rune is going to kind of really, and she's also angry, but like she has sun coming from her, but she's angry. So I think she's going to find Valentine. Valentine is going to come back, and they either will like agree to disagree on, do you think she's going to try again to bring Jocelyn back?
I don't think so. I think she gave it up sooner than I had anticipated, but I think she may have accepted the fact that, look, this is dangerous stuff. I would not want to bring my mom back into something that was awful.
I think the good thing is that Clary has people around her that she can kind of lean on, like that can be her rock in these tough times that lie ahead for her.
Yeah.
Not to get all sentimental.
I do want to say, though, when you started talking about predictions, your ring changed drastically in color very fastly.
It's a mood ring.
Where'd you get it?
Oh, actually, City by the Sea. They are on Instagram and on Etsy, and it's a mood ring.
That's so cool. Literally, I promise you, when you started
What
talking
color
about
was it
predictions, it was
before?
very white, and then it turned very purple, and then back into like an ombre type of color. Right when you started talking about
Magic.
predictions, I'm not even kidding.
Ooh, that means that I'm like not sure.
That means
Actually-
that Sam is magic.
It means that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love having you. We love for you guys to watch us and talk to us and tweet at us.
Yeah.
Where can we find you online?
Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. And I just want to thank Heather Lagos Designs. You can find them on Instagram for these awesome necklaces. We will see
So
you
cool.
next week. Bye, guys.
Love
Bye.
you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.